Testing. This is Brady.
Testing. This is Ricky. Testing.
This is Jeremy.
Testing.
All those peaks look pretty similar, so
I like the peaks.
I'm liking the peaks.
There's
a door stop,
There's
you
a door
idiot.
stop, you idiot.
we will.
Break my door stop. Do it.
Today's podcast is sponsored by Tom's. Why the fuck are you wearing those, Jeremy?
Because they cost $16 at Nordstrom Rack.
Oh,
And if I pay for
that's excusable.
yeah, if I can buy a pair of shoes that's size 13 and that aren't extremely bright colored, that hasn't stopped me before.
Yeah.
But if they're under like $20 or $30, I'll usually buy them regardless of what brand they are. They didn't come with the African kids' shoes though. I was under the understanding that when you bought a pair of Toms, you got two pairs of shoes, one for you and one for an African child.
No, they just send them there. Well, probably.
So you don't get the African child shoes.
No, you just get yours.
Oh.
What are you talking about?
Tom's. For every pair of shoes they sell, they ship one to Africa.
Well, that's what they say.
I don't believe that at all.
That's fair.
Because if that was true, there would be a lot.
There would be some shoes in
there would be-
Africa.
yeah, there would
If you've
actually
ever
be
seen
shoes
like
there.
any footage out of Africa, there's
South
no shoes.
Africa exists.
You know, I've seen a lot.
That's not the same. That's white Africa. I'm
Well-
talking Africa.
They don't need shoes.
Brady just cut this part. The whole beginning.
Oh, this is staying. I like this. Those peaks might be a little tall after all.
All right. What? Do you want me to turn everybody down?
Yeah, just a little bit.
Just a little bit. I think there's a
So-
song something like that, but I don't.
There probably is.
I don't fully remember
Chances
it.
are there is.
How are you liking those peaks, Brady?
Those are looking nice.
Oh, yeah,
Those
those
are
look
looking
nice.
nice. We'll
Peaks.
see what happens as we go.
All right.
So, Rick, you were saying something about a movie?
Wait. What episode is this?
6.
This
Six.
is episode 6, and there's 4 of us here today.
So we're the 4 Toms.
We are the 4 Toms.
Episode 6.
My name's
The
not
4
Tom.
Toms.
And
My
only
name's
half of our episodes have all 4 of us in it.
Yes.
Is that supposed to
But
the
hey-
4 peeping toms or like?
And I'm the only one that's been in
Easy,
every
bud.
episode.
I mean, I think there's only one here, but
You?
So this is basically Brady's podcast.
This
no.
is
No.
Thank you for having us today on your podcast.
Oh, yeah, you're
Brady's
so
the host.
welcome.
Brady's the host of the podcast.
That's
Well, I
this
always-
week, Brady's podcast.
Well, I always kind of considered him the host because he was really the one who was like, "Yes, I like this. Let's make this happen."
And he always sets it up, and I sit here. I feel like a guest, which is nice.
I enjoy doing this.
It is also fun for me.
I have nothing better to do with my time.
Hooray!
But
Also,
today-
Alex doesn't have to go anywhere.
It's not like yeah. If it was at someone else.
At what
house,
time
I
do you get
probably
into
wouldn't.
this room?
I usually get here like 30 minutes early, and I don't set up. I just sit here and do whatever I want. Normally, I'm looking over your character sheets and making sure stuff is correct.
Because every time like I show up, I just expect you to be like in your room on your computer or
No.
something. It's like, oh, Alex is in here already, and I'm 15 minutes early. What?
So speaking of character sheets, Ricky, you were saying something about D&D. You had to cut short.
Yeah, I was on my way to Bellevue with my mom and dad, and my mom asked me something about like what we do on Thursday nights. I was like, oh yeah, we play Dungeons and Dragons. And my dad was like, he like stopped, his face went stone, and he looked at me, and he was like, the board game? I was like, well, it's not really like on
The
a
board
board
game without a board, but
yeah, it's not really on a
It's a game.
board. And I'd known that he was interested in that kind of stuff because like when I was a kid, he wanted to play like Warhammer and like stuff like that. Very into that.
The big RPG games,
And-
role-playing game games.
And he said something like at one point something about Dungeons and Dragons, and it just stuck with me for some reason. Not the actual thing because I don't remember it obviously, but I was like, well, it's not really on a board, but yeah, that Dungeons and Dragons. And he was like, how the hell do you play without a board? I was like, well, it's all like in your head. Oh, I remember how the story came up. My parents were saying how I have zero imagination.
Oh,
I was like, I play Dungeons and Dragons. That is
You're
the
wrong.
ultimate imagination
Yeah,
test.
like when you're playing D&D with us, I see like straight into Ricky's imagination core. Like I see everything, just all the stuff that he thinks of on a normal basis, but can't share because it's not socially acceptable to just spew random stuff. But I think we all do that. We all just spew our random things here.
Yes.
I would say Ricky more than anyone.
Yes,
but
definitely Ricky more than anyone.
The game would be messed up if I spewed random things.
But anyways, he was like, well, what the hell? I wanted to play that in high school and stuff, but, I was like the quarterback, so I wasn't allowed to. I was like, oh, well, yeah, okay.
Is that like the one rule being a quarterback?
Yeah.
You can't play D&D.
Yeah, when you get the quarterback rule book, it's like, all right, no D&D. I know it's tempting, but no.
No, really, you can't.
And then, so he's like, well, how the hell do you play it without a board? I'm like, well, it's just like all in our imagination. We have Alex, the dungeon master, and he kind of like sets up a situation, and we like ask him, hey, can we do this? And he's like, roll for this, and that's kind of how it works. And he's like, all right, well, let's play. Like, right now? And he's like, yeah, sure. I want to see some titties. I was like, okay, well, that's not quite how that works. And then I was like, all right, I'll start it standard. You go into a bar and you see like 6 people all at one table and 6 people all like sitting at the bar. And he's like, all right, I go in there and I slay some dudes. I'm like, nope, that's not how that works. And I was like, what do you want to do? And he's like, I want to buy a drink. It's like, all right, you buy a drink. He's like, now what do I do? Whatever you want. All right, I'll buy another drink.
Roll me charisma to see them titties.
And then, like, after a while, he was like, all right, I want to go talk to those dudes. I'm like, which dudes? Are there any girls? I'm like, no, there's no girls. He's like, fuck this. So he left the bar and went to another one. I was like, all right, there's 2 girls and a table with, like, 6 guys. He was like, all right. Can I go talk to him? I was like, sure. And I was like, roll me charisma. And he was like, all right, I got a high number. I'm like, okay. You talk to him, and they invite you to sit down. He's like, all right. Can I see him now? I'm like, no. that's not how this works. He's like, where do the dungeons come into play? I'm like, yeah, whenever. He's like, take me to a dungeon. Like, you have to take yourself to a dungeon.
You leave the bar, all of a sudden you're in a dungeon.
Yeah. So we went through some things, and there was like some guy following him or something, or he was following some guy, and then he got to a dungeon, and eventually, like at the end, I let him have women at the end of the dungeon, and he was happy. And he was like,
instead of getting gold at the end of the dungeon, like he fights off a dragon, it's just women.
yeah. he specifically said something like, I want willing women.
Good thing he's willing.
So, anyways, long story short, he was like, well, do you guys want to come over on Thursday and play Dungeons and Dragons at our house? And I can play? Like, well, I mean, where would we do it? And he was like, the kitchen table? I was like, well, it's kind of small. And he's like, we could set up a card table in the living room. Like, well, we'll talk about it.
After listening to that story, I feel like if he played with us, he'd be very disappointed a lot.
Yes.
Also, I feel like we wouldn't play how we do here if he was there.
I would need to add more brothels.
Yes, more brothels. Make it more realistic.
Brothels become like new McDonald's. They're on every fucking street corner.
Yeah, well, it would be like a rotation thing. Like we all do a turn, and then we visit a brothel. Just
Yep. I don't want to have to describe that. I don't want to have to.
I would like you to describe it just so we have it on recording.
No.
Just so I can have the sound files. Alex describing a brothel.
We'll get to that on the D&D day.
Sick.
That is if you go to a brothel. I'll make sure to remove them all.
No more brothels. Sounds good.
Were there any to begin with?
I didn't have any planned, but if you really wanted one, I might have considered it, but then probably not.
When I pulled up to Alex's house today, I was confused because Ricky wasn't driving his normal car.
Yes, I drove my mom's car.
Was there a reason for that, or?
My car is in, not like the shop in town, but another one.
Your car seems to be in the shop quite a bit.
Yeah, but we finally found the problem, so that's nice. There's a valve that like leaks oil into my motor,
Oh,
so that's gonna get fixed finally.
that's good.
Yep.
Brady, are motors supposed to have oil in them?
In certain parts.
But not in other parts.
Not in
Only
other parts.
in certain parts.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I'd always, since I've got the car, I've smelled oil, but like the last week, my car's been like smoking after I get out.
Well, it's gonna get cancer. You should tell it to quit smoking.
Yeah, it's in rehab.
Stick to the healthy alternatives.
But the
If I start chewing,
Yeah.
healthy, right?
start leaking oil. The place I took it to, it's called like Specialized Euro Cars or something.
Because you have a specialized Euro car. That's right.
And it's run by a Hungarian guy, and he very Hungarian accent, like definitely Eastern European, and he's very friendly. And he specifically said because of our last name.
Oh, all right.
So he's like, Mueller, I can tell you're German. I already like you. I was like, oh, good. And he spelled our name in the computer with an umlaut. I don't know if that's going to cause problems later. But that's what happened. Because like my mom was going to spell the name. She was like, M-U. And he was like, oh, I already know how to spell it. Like, okay, good.
Wrong.
But we went there and he was like, we have goats and sheep and 100 chickens and turkeys and geese and ducks. And my mom was like, I love goats. And he's like, oh yes, I love goats too. They're very very friendly, personable animals. I was like, oh yeah, And she's like, after this, I will take you to my farm. I'm like, all right. So yeah, we went in there, and he has 14.
Wait, you actually went to the Hungarian goat farm?
Yeah, like
Holy
it's in his
shit.
backyard.
Oh, all right.
But they have 14 goats, and of course the Hellraiser is Maggie. My dog Maggie is a Hellraiser, and he took us, like, we walked around. He talked about the goats, and he had one goat. I forgot what its name is. It was like, I think it was Chapo. And he was like, his name is Chapo because it is brown, like Mexican. I was like, oh, okay. We had Heather with us. But he was like, I'm not racist. It's brown, like Mexican. Yep. And then the geese, they were screaming the entire time. He's like, get out of here, get out of here. And he was like throwing sticks at him and shit. And then we left. And
I want him to play D&D with us.
Yeah, it was pretty fun. I trust him with my car. I trust him enough. Let's see, what else? So I watched a movie.
Yeah, you were going to say something about movies. We
Yep.
started talking about movies last week.
Yes. Horror movie. It was like
I'm putting this on my list.
it was a couple days ago, and it was like a boring night. I think it was Sunday night. And I was like, Heather was at my house. I was like, let's watch a scary ghost movie. So I was like, all right, Housebound. Because the description is like, this girl, well, I'll just give the description. This girl, she's a troublemaker. She gets sent to like a halfway house, which is her mom's house, who runs a halfway house, so it's kind of convenient. But her mom's convinced the house is haunted, and eventually, like, some things happen. And should I give it away?
Yeah, give it away for us.
Okay.
I'm fine with that.
Well, there's like this ghost, and her mom's seen it, and finally, like, the girl sees it, and they do some research, and this 14-year-old girl was stabbed to death, and one of the other patients who is schizophrenic and stuff, like, disappears. So they're like, oh, obviously he did it and, like, ran away. And then there's, like, something happens, and they find, like, a retainer like with teeth in it.
Oh, that's gross.
No, like one that you put in if you have missing teeth.
All right. I thought it was like
Yeah.
ripped someone's mouth out and the teeth came with the retainer.
Yeah, like there's creeping in the walls, and then something went down like a wood stove, and she like bashed the wood stove and grabbed it, and it was like a retainer. And then she realized, oh, the next door neighbor that's super creepy, he's got a retainer with teeth in it, and it matches. It must have been him. So then she goes and she like tries to steal the retainer, but then he wakes up and she sprints, and there's this guy that like monitors her because she's on house arrest, and he's also a paranormal expert. Convenient. Also, it's a New Zealand film. So like he's waiting outside like as lookout, and she comes running, and so he starts running. Then his foot gets caught in a bear trap. So she takes.
Why the fuck do they have
Where
bear
the bear
traps?
trap come from?
Well, it's this crazy guy's yard.
Oh, all right.
And so he's like stuck, and the guy just woke up and he's chasing after him. So she throws like a canopy for a truck over him and runs into the woods. And
Wait, she just picks up like a,
Well, it's probably
a
like
bed
on
canopy.
something.
it's like on its side. And
Oh,
he
so
was-
she
was
just pushes it over.
Yeah, and he was using it as cover. And then when he ran, she just like pushed it over.
Okay, I was gonna say like those tend to be very heavy.
Yeah. And then, so she gets inside and she grabs some like shears and she's hiding in the closet. And then she was convinced she's being chased. So someone opens the door. She stabs him, but it's her stepdad. So he almost dies.
Shit.
And then later, the guy, I think it's the house arrest guy, the parole officer. He walks over to the house and he's like, "Oh, I know you did it," like the bad guy's house. And he's like, "Oh, right. Yeah, I know what you're talking about." And then he like opens this basement and there's tunnels, and the schizophrenic guy like lives down there, and he lives in these tunnels. The tunnels also connect to the girl's house because that's where he originally led.
The halfway house.
Yeah, lived. And so they're like, "Oh my God, there's someone in the walls. He killed him." So then she's freaking out. Then he like attacks her.
Wait.
I thought. What? Just continue.
Yeah, keep going. We'll ask
I
questions
don't-
later.
He like attacks her, and then she's like, "He did it. He's a murderer." And he like,
Why'd you point at me when you said that?
I'm just pointing that way. And then she goes to the police station and says, "There's someone in my walls that's trying to kill me." And she's already like kind of crazy. So they're like, "Okay." And the counselor guy comes over, and then they realize, oh, he has a retainer. And then she's like, "Hey, Mom, keep him talking. I'm going to go downstairs in the basement." Then she looks through like the files and she realizes that he was a camp counselor there. Well, not a camp counselor, but like a guidance
Halfway
counselor.
house
Yeah.
Guidance counselor.
And the girl caused problems for him. So she was like, "Oh my God, she caused problems for him. And so he killed her." And then she had a revelation. And then she tried to prove it. And he's like, "I need to go to the bathroom." So he went upstairs. And then there was the other police officer in there. And he was dead. And the guy was nowhere to be found. And then he tried to kill him. And then the guy that was living in the walls like saves them. And then they're hiding. And he busts in. And so there's this jug, like a big one. And the girl smells it. And she's like, "That's not water." And the guy like giggles. And then later, the schizophrenic guy throws it in the bad guy's face. And it burns his eyes. So it's like, "Oh, that's cum. That's great." He has a big, because his face was like milky and stuff. And it was. So I was,
Cum?
yeah,
Oh my
big
god.
jug of cum. So, and then yeah, that's about it. Like you think it's gonna be a spooky ghost story, and then you think it was a neighbor, and then you think it's a guy in the walls, and then it's like it was none of those guys.
It was, and then it ends with a jug of cum.
No. Then like they kill the camp counselor. Like Eugene hands like a fork to them.
Wait, who's Eugene?
Eugene, the schizophrenic guy.
All right.
He hands a fork like through the cabinet after the girl just got knocked out, and he's like choking her mom, and she stabs him right here, and she's like, "What the heck is this?" And then there's this wire, and Eugene like looks at her and like presses a button, and his head like explodes because it had like electricity. So
All right.
I'm not even gonna attempt to comprehend.
Yeah,
the
so after
story
listening
that
to
you
this,
just
I don't know
told me.
if you're schizophrenic or I'm schizophrenic or whoever the fuck made that movie was schizophrenic. Because that was at times hard to follow.
yeah, it's a good movie.
The movie that difficult to follow, or is it
No, it's very easy to follow.
all right?
It was hard to tell because so much happens.
Just so quick, I imagine too.
Yeah, Heather left the room twice. I didn't because I don't get scared by anything except ghosts.
Oh, she got scared and left the room. That kind of
Yeah,
left the room.
yeah.
Oh, all right.
But she repeatedly has said that it's the best movie she's ever seen, and I agree. It's a very good movie.
What was it called again?
Housebound.
Yeah, I wrote that down as well.
Yeah.
That'll be a great movie to watch.
Hmm.
Was it on Netflix?
Yep.
All right.
It was.
Why are those weird movies always on Netflix?
I was very lazy, and I was like, "Oh, movies related to the Babadook, Housebound."
Your Netflix suggestions are probably all sorts of screwed up by this point, aren't they?
Yeah.
It's just like, oh, what are the weirdest movies on the deepest,
Well,
darkest
it's like
depths of Netflix?
all the movies that are sponsored by Netflix, and then ones that are kind of sort of similar.
So speaking of movies, movies I'm excited to see that are coming out but are not out yet. Laser Team.
That's gonna be a good movie.
What is it?
That's the Rooster Teeth film?
Yeah, it's a film made by Rooster Teeth. People really want it. I mean, they did a Kickstarter for it, and what was their goal? Like $20,000.
Yeah, it was like
And
$500,000 or something like that.
And they made over $1 million for it, didn't
I
they?
think it was like $2 or $3 million at the end.
Yeah,
of
they
the day.
made a lot of money towards it, so I'm really excited for that. I think they said it'd be out December.
I'm thinking sometime later this year. I think that's what it was.
I think I heard something about December, but that's whatever. Any movies you guys are looking forward
This
to?
year is going to be a pretty good year for movies. At least there's going to be a lot of spy movies, and there's going to be quite a few westerns. Because you have The Hateful Eight coming out, which is one of the last few Quentin Tarantino movies, supposedly, which should be good. Quentin Tarantino, obviously. The Revenant, that should be a good film. And then there's a ton of spy movies, like The Man from U.N.C.L.E., Bridge of Spies or something like that with Tom Hanks and whatnot. But yeah, so there's quite a few movies that are coming out this year. That should be good.
Rick, you got any good?
I have no idea if any movies are coming
strange
out.
independent films that are coming out.
Nope.
That's all he watches.
Yeah, I have no idea like what is coming out.
Yeah, I usually just keep my eyes on like what the thing on the front of the movie theater says, and like, oh, some of those movies look interesting. I don't know. I can never plan too well into the future.
Usually, like, I'll go to a movie once every 4 months or something. It's like, oh, that movie's coming out in 2 years, and that looks pretty good. But then I, like, forget about it because when you see it in the movie theater, it comes out, like, 2 years later.
Yeah. The one of the things that I've been doing is I've gone to a few movies recently, but I try to, like, remember the trailers in front of the movies because those are things like, oh, you always think, oh, that looks like a good movie. That looks like a good movie. But then by the end of you don't even remember that you watched the trailers.
Yeah.
So I've been trying to write them down, but I haven't actually. I've thought about it and I'm like, I need to write these down, but then I forget.
Good.
That's how good of a memory I have. I just forget. Yeah.
If you're going to see any movies this year, just remember The Hateful Eight and The Revenant are probably going to be really good.
Okay.
But past that, I can't tell you yet, but we'll see.
The Revenant.
Yeah.
Is that a fax?
It is
yep,
a fax.
that is a fax.
We're getting a fax, guys. What's coming through?
So I was in Snohomish today, and there was a friendly old Jehovah's Witness man, and he gave me this book called the Book of Bible Stories, and it's a very nice book. Very,
He just gave it to you?
yeah. There's like a little kiosk of free like pamphlets and
Like
stuff.
Bible materials?
Yeah, and most of them are like the Jehovah's Witness magazines and stuff. And at the top is like Is the end near?
Is it like Jehovah and Me sort of magazines?
Yeah. The main one is called Witness.
That's a good. That's
Yes, that
that's
is their
good.
magazine. I have several copies of that on my coffee table at home. Jehovah's Witnesses, my mom is not a Jehovah's Witness, but they come over and talk like she is because she doesn't know how to say no.
Is that why she's married to your dad?
Probably. That would be the best explanation I have. But yeah, originally it was like she didn't really want to talk to him, but they liked Frankie and they would talk about cats for like 30 minutes on the front porch. And then eventually she like started letting them in and they'd talk for a little while. Then one moved next door. So that was fun. She's our next door neighbor now. And
Well, it's because they felt accepted into the community by your mom.
yeah, good job, Mom. And so yeah, they always have magazines from Jehovah's Witnesses. And this book, I actually like it. Like, I was actually interested in this book because it has like a bunch of Bible stories that people reference all the time, but like abridged versions because it's like a children's book. So I was pretty excited about it.
Was the man interested at all that like a 17-year-old person wanted to take a child's book?
Well, he was like, "Oh, see something you like there?" I was like, "Oh yeah, this one." And he was like, "Oh yeah, that one's perfect for reading to children." I was like, "Oh, perfect. That's exactly what I need." He's like, "Well, that's your book then." I was like, "Okay." He's like, "It's free." I'm like, "Oh, wonderful. Thank you."
Did he ask for donations?
No, he was just like, "It's free." I'm like, "Oh, awesome. Thank you." I'll walk down to the river. But like what I think is interesting is the people on the cover are clearly like, well, honestly they look Mexican, but they're wearing like Egyptian jewelry, and it's little baby Moses being sent off.
Wait. Sent off.
Yeah, they send him down the river.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. But then like everything else, white. Just all
I thought I saw a black kid in there.
at
No.
the end.
Was he in chains?
At the Jesus.
It's just a question.
At the end, it says a new paradise on earth. There's an African American father and an African American boy feeding a fawn, while a Chinese girl is holding a duck right next to them. And then there's
Well, of course, the Chinese girl would have the duck.
Then there's a white mother and a white
What? Do you not
daughter.
get it? They eat
And
duck a lot?
Basically, just a bunch of races all together in a paradise after
After what? 80 pages of white people?
after the apocalypse, basically.
After
The colors come back after the apocalypse.
after God changes his mind about each race after whenever.
Yeah. And then last picture. Cute little. Wait, they're reading this book. How can they read this book if?
It's a painting.
What?
It's a painting, right?
Are they looking at that page in the book?
No.
Oh, that's not as good as it should be.
Yeah, they should have had the people reading the page with the people.
Yeah, and like,
And the
what are
people
those
read.
called?
Inception.
Right. Yep.
And then we
That's
could
not
find
as-
the people that look like that and have them read the book.
I think it's actually called recursion. Recursion.
I don't
That's a
know.
word.
I do not know what it's called.
Sure.
It is a word.
You're
Some of
probably
these,
right.
some of the titles, like with no context, pretty funny.
Read off a few.
All right. The first one I flipped to. He loved little children. Look at Jesus here with his arms around the little boy. You can tell that Jesus really cares for little ones. And then I'll skip to the last few sentences. Then Jesus takes the children in his arms and blesses them. Isn't it good to know that Jesus loves little children?
Wow.
And later, Stephen is stoned. The man kneeling here is Stephen. He is a faithful disciple of Jesus. But look what's happening to him now. These men are throwing big stones at him. So it's not like, he was hitting the reefer. He did something bad, and now he gets killed by stones.
Reefer madness.
The last story is how we can live forever.
How can we live forever?
Why don't you tell me?
With nanobots.
Also, God's name isn't God. It's Jehovah God.
Is there a dash in there? Is it Jehovah
No,
dash God?
it's like Jehovah is his first name and God is his last name, like Jesus Christ. But just
Wait.
learning about Jehovah God and Jesus Christ is not enough.
Wait, I thought Jesus Christ was the Son of God. Wouldn't it be Jesus God then? Because it's Jehovah God and Jesus God.
Right?
Or is his middle
Or
name?
is it Jehovah Christ?
No, because his middle name is something that starts with an H.
Oh yes, Jesus H Christ. That's
Yeah.
right. It's actually Hebert. Like George Hebert Walker Bush.
Wait, what?
George H.W. Bush. Because he's a descendant of Jesus H. Christ.
And
You
they
guys
only
didn't know
kept
that?
the middle name?
Yeah,
Not-
they only
not the
kept the
last
middle
name?
name. No.
Good
They were
God.
like, that's a dumb last name. Let's only
No,
go
it's
with the
Jehovah
middle
God,
name.
not good God. What is good God, Rick? Do you see something in there you like?
This, like the last quote in this, or the last sentence in this book is very harsh. It's like, we also need to live in harmony with the things we learn. That's how you get everlasting life. But then it's like, Judas had a lot of knowledge about Jehovah and Jesus, but what happened to him? After a while, he became selfish, and he betrayed Jesus to his enemies for 30 pieces of silver. So Judas will not receive everlasting life. End book.
I'd probably do it for 30 pieces of silver.
Well, that was...
Long time ago.
What's the exchange rate? I need the
No,
number.
I'm being serious.
Would you rather have 30 pieces of silver or everlasting life with Jehovah God
You
and
can't
Jesus Christ?
can't bring your. I'm assuming there's an afterlife, and that's the continuation of life. And you can't bring your silver to the afterlife, so I'd rather get it now and use it now.
But you don't need silver in the afterlife because it's friggin' perfect.
Is that what the 40 virgins are?
I thought it was 72.
72 virgins. Where did the number 40? The 40-year-old virgin. That's what it was.
I don't think that's where the 40 virgins came from.
Also, if so, what about the part 3 of the Bible?
There's a part 3 of the Bible?
Yeah, the Bible's a trilogy. Book of Mormon. Ever hear of it?
No, I've never heard of the Book of Mormon.
Book of Mormon.
Book of Mormon.
The bark of Marmarn.
So I'm excited to read that and brush up on my, because there's a lot of good history in there. Like, I mean, not
I think there's what you're saying is there's a lot of good reference material.
yeah.
There you
Because when
And-
people reference the stories, they'll be like, oh, blah, blah, blah. It's like this book of the Bible.
Yeah.
And then you can be like, oh, yes, I understand that book of the Bible because I've read that in a children's book.
Yeah.
And Yeah.
And a lot of history is based off of, like, a lot of history's actions are
Yes.
based off of the Bible.
yes, that's... I
History
understand what you
itself
mean.
is not based off the Bible.
Brady, you said something about fixing a Jeep.
Yes, I am working on my Jeep, and I getting real close to having it done. Probably actually be driving it Thursday. Might drive it Thursday here. Got it to start today. That was exciting. You know, had the engine in for 2 days now. Just wouldn't start. Turns out I forgot to plug in one plug. Stops the entire thing from starting. So
What plug was that?
that was the crankshaft sensor.
The crankshaft sensor.
Yes.
See it here.
At least my engine doesn't leak oil.
At least my car isn't a Jeep.
Yeah, it's an overpriced Audi where it's too expensive just to replace your dash.
Wow.
What are you talking about?
Your dash screen.
$50.
Why don't you have it replaced then?
I'm going to.
Do it.
It's just hard because the reason it was so expensive is you have to like get in there and take off
That's not hard.
No, it
the front of the car?
it is a pain in the ass for literally everyone, Brady, to take off the entire like the dash thing. That's a pain in the ass.
It's not.
Yes, it is. It's like an hour and a half worth of work
Yeah.
to take apart the whole thing. That's a pain in the ass.
I don't see the problem there. That's an hour and a half more you know about your car.
Brady, I understand having a knowledge of your car, and I understand for you a hobby of yours is working on cars.
Mm-hmm. True.
So like an hour and a half invested in a hobby is an awesome thing, but an hour and a half just
Invested into making your car better. I don't see the problem there.
All right.
An hour and a half of your time so you can see. What does that screen display usually?
Warning signals.
That's important.
You know, that's the only thing I know because it's been messed up since I've got it.
Is the odometer in there as well?
The odometer is not in there.
You're gonna get it fixed one day, and it's gonna say all this stuff, and you're just gonna be like, well, I should have known that the entire time.
I know.
Your car is going to explode in 5, 4. Wow, the countdown was perfect. Just got it fixed.
No, it'll tell you exactly what was wrong with it before you're getting it fixed now.
Yeah.
That's probably something it does.
But
say
it'll be
is error
fixed, so
codes.
it'll say that nothing is wrong.
I know, but I'm just talking about in hindsight
Oh.
if you would have had the dash fixed previously.
Yeah, when there's like warning signals like low tire pressure or you're out of gas, stuff like that.
Well, typically when you're out of gas, your car just doesn't go.
Yeah.
That's my warning. Don't got a fancy Audi.
Rick definitely has the fanciest and priciest car out of all of us.
Don't even fucking look at me.
What?
Alex, those are your words about your car. The things that you describe your truck are 100% your words.
Yeah. It's a truck.
I mean, I would compare it to Rick's because you didn't pay anything, but neither did Rick. So I really can't compare. Jeremy, you paid for your car, right?
That is correct.
You and I are the two that paid for our cars. Those two didn't.
I mean, we already had the truck, so it's not like I need to fucking buy it from my parents.
So have you decided where you're going to college, Alex?
No, not yet.
What
Have
you're
you
going to
s-
do?
Have you decided where you're gonna go to work after high school?
No.
Down by
What
the
about
river, right?
where's your mission trip? What branch of the military are you gonna join? I'm giving you all
No,
your options
nope.
here, Alex. You gotta pick one.
None.
I thought Alex was going to get an RV and go down to the river.
I thought it was
A van.
A van,
It's a
yeah.
van.
A van?
Windowless
no, a
van.
bendy bus. A bus that bends in the middle.
No,
Jesus.
that's what? Oh, okay.
Like the bus and then bendy thing, another bus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
That would be hard to turn around.
You'd be pretty much stuck down at the river.
Okay. Sounds like
They
a perfect
couldn't
plan.
ask you to leave.
They could.
I've been trying for 6 days.
Do you want to back this up? It took me 36 points on a turn to get it around the corner.
That's more than you'll see scored in a women's basketball game.
Wow. Unless, never mind. Because it's about our basketball team.
Woo!
Yes, Granite Falls, the town of sports. We have a new athletic director. Sports might change a little bit.
Hopefully,
I hope they change a little bit.
Mr. Johnson.
Yes. They were in a meeting at the district office with Mike, and I was in the room for no reason at all. I was just in there.
Right?
And it sounds like that they want to make some really good improvements. And who asked me about the face hair? Like, I said something about the face hair, but then somebody asked, was it...
I asked you, does it look good?
Oh, yes, it does look good.
Good.
Yes, I tried to take a picture, but it was kind of getting weird.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't want to, like, overstep my boundaries and be like, hey, can I take a picture of you? So I was, like, trying to do it stealthily, but all of them were blurry.
You asked for an autograph and a photo.
You could have just said, hey, you know, the better of the two.
No, but they didn't remember us. They didn't remember us, Rick.
What do you mean they?
That's even better.
They remember us.
No, they didn't. No, they didn't remember us.
Yeah, no, they remember us.
All right, they remembered us.
They like us.
No, but it's better if they don't remember.
Maybe
you.
they
Just
just
like, I'm
didn't
going to take
remember
a
you.
picture of your
I don't
face.
think they. I don't think
They don't know who
they.
you
I think
are.
I put them in an uncomfortable scenario because I was working, and they didn't expect a student to also be working. So
Yeah.
they didn't know. Like they were there to talk about like businessy stuff, boring business stuff, and so usually with students they're talking about like cool student stuff. So I think I put them out of their element when I was like, oh, student, but business.
Yeah. Right.
Did they try to talk about fun businessy stuff?
I don't know one fun businessy thing, Brady.
Neither do I, but you know.
Stock market.
Yeah, the way you do it's fun because you break everything.
Alex just
Break
finds
anything. I find loopholes.
You find loopholes in everything. Exactly.
loopholes in a game that sadly cannot be translated to real life.
I tried. I died. I tried the.
Yeah, I would have tried too. One day you're paying, like a couple $100 for it. The next day it's worth.
It was
Several
about it
thousand.
went from about $1,000 to $100,000.
That'd be crazy if you could buy that.
That's why it doesn't exist, though, right?
Yes.
Why does that happen?
It's not a real like traded stock, but the game didn't recognize that. It was just something that was on the market, so you could buy it in the game because it doesn't. Pay attention.
Why does it fluctuate so much?
It was something. It was an account used for like dumping toxic mortgages by the bank.
Yeah.
So they would dump the toxic mortgages. I can't tell you the exact details because I don't really know. But then the account would just fluctuate like that. But it doesn't really. Yeah, you can't buy that. It's not a real stock.
Yeah, that's my understanding as well. Is that like they just used it to. It was basically like where they put all of their really expensive things that they had to pay for, and that or like people couldn't pay for and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So it just fluctuated up and down when they would dump things in and take things out.
And then I broke the stock market game in our economics class.
What's the most amount of money you've ever wasted on something?
Wasted?
Yeah, not wasted. What's the most amount of money you've spent on something and the outcome was not
I spent $27 on a CS:GO skin.
I would say opening cases was more of a waste than that.
Oh yeah, you're probably right. I'm not gonna total how much I've spent on that.
A couple hundred?
No, not that much. Not yet.
Not yet. What about you, Jeremy?
Oh gosh. I've spent a lot of money on strange books. But,
Like what? Do you read the strange books? Like what books?
No, well, I like flip through them and stuff, but it's just like I buy a
No,
book.
there's no pictures in this one. On to the next.
No, that's like an old book. Like I've bought like large reference books that like are of children's literature and old cooking encyclopedias from the 40s, and it's just like these random like I think I bought one with you guys at one point.
Probably.
Yeah, when we went to like a thrift store or something, and I was
I'm sure
like,
I didn't pay attention.
yeah, and I just buy these books and I spend money on them, some like more money than I should sometimes. It's just like I didn't need this.
Yeah, and we all told you, like after the fact.
Yes.
Why do you have that?
It's-
There's online cookbooks, entire books online for free.
I know, but I don't know.
Oh, online books, audiobooks. Rick, I think you might be interested in hearing this. So, Egghead by Bo Burnhams. That's an
Yep.
audiobook, and he did the reading of it.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, I thought I learned that.
Did we talk about that at some point?
No, not that. But the reason I bring that up is I heard about it on the spot. John Reisinger said it, and I was like, wow. If he said it, it must be true.
Yeah.
Now that you've mentioned Audible on the podcast, we're going down a slippery slope that every podcast follows because every podcast first sponsor is always Audible.
Mm-hmm.
Guaranteed.
Audible, if you're listening to this, we would love a sponsor.
So about the money wasting thing, Rick, I feel like you have a good answer.
I honestly can't think of anything.
Because you just do it so frequently, or is it because you never do it?
Because like the things I buy are never extremely expensive, and I will always find a good use for it. Like all of my purchases, just like on a whim, they turn out to be wonderful purchases.
You know what? I have to
can't-
agree. I have to agree with you on that. I have never seen you make a bad decision with money. Like, even if it's at face value, it's like, why did you spend money on that? That's a horrible idea. Like in Seattle, a gentleman approached us and was like, "Hey,
Smarty Jones.
Smarty Jones."
You're the only
approached
person
us.
that didn't buy a CD from him.
He approached us and was like, "Hey guys, I want to sell you boys some CDs because I'm in Seattle and I have CDs." And I was like, "Nah, dog, I'm good." Except for I said like a white person.
And then he performed for us, and it was freaking
Yeah.
great. I was like, okay, I trust that you can throw together a CD. I'll take one.
Yep, we all bought one except for Jeremy.
Yep.
He talks to me on Twitter. Sometimes I respond, and sometimes I don't.
Do you feel bad about that, not responding?
He's like, honestly, it's like it feels like a friend from middle school that you don't talk to, but he's still there, and he wants something from you.
Like money.
Yeah.
He wants money. He wants you to buy more
Buy
albums.
another
Uh-huh.
CD.
And like I would totally go to his shows and stuff, but I'm not 18. Also, I don't want to drive to Seattle.
But I feel like if you went to a show, something you would spend the money on it, then something extraordinary would happen.
Yeah.
Never would be a waste of money.
Yeah. But I was for sure the CDs that you bought from him were like when I went to New York, you were with us, right?
I was, yeah.
Yeah, and when the same sort of scenario, there was this a gentleman that approached us and was like, "Do you boys want to buy some CDs?" One of our acquaintances in our group opened his wallet. The gentleman that was selling the CDs reached into his wallet and took money from the wallet.
Yeah,
That was
because
it.
he's like, we just accept donations for these CDs, like $5 donations. And then he's like, okay, how much should I give you? And he was like, oh, thanks, man. Grabbed the stack of cash, pocketed it, walked off.
left us with what, 3 or 4 blank CDs.
Mine weren't blank, but I know that I managed to get 2 copies. I think someone didn't want theirs. And I had one that was titled something, and they had the other that was titled something different. I was like, oh, cool. I have both. Like, if one of them sucks, I can just listen to the other. First one, like, there were these gangster-looking black guys, and I was like, oh, all right, some rap from New York. Cool. Reggae. I'm like, all right, that's pretty lame. I don't think they are Jamaican, so I don't know where that came from. Second one, all right, this one, maybe rap. Same CD, different title. But luckily, I only spent like $5, so that was okay.
You know, that just might be the difference between Seattle and New York. Is you get either what you pay for, or you get stolen. You get your money stolen, and then you don't.
What's so goddamn funny?
I don't. I'm pretty sure I know what you guys said, but
Why don't you
I'm
tell
not, I'm
us?
not going to say it.
Yeah, Jeremy has something on his face.
Fucking idiot.
Goodwill is a good place. I never went there from like the time I was 0 to 16 because I was like, oh, I'm not allowed to go there because I'm not on welfare. Like I thought it was a welfare store. Like
But
people,
you could only buy welfare money.
yeah, like people, like you had to be poor to get in, and then like whatever you wanted, you could have.
Did,
So,
did
like,
you
there
like?
was,
Did
like-
you have like
oh
a
my
poor
gosh.
card that you showed at the door? Like
there was-
instead of
there
an
was a-
ID,
there was a
at
better
the
bar.
bar.
Show me how
Honestly-
many food stamps you have.
Yeah, honestly, I think that's how it should work. If you're poor, you have to show people your poor card so you can't buy expensive things.
That's a good idea. I like
No,
that.
anyone, like, if they have a poor card, they can't get loans. Because for some reason, they keep getting loans.
Yeah,
And then
no,
they get
that's
Or
It's
not
also a
like
good idea.
dumb loans, like payday loans.
But anyways, after I discovered Goodwill, holy smokes, I made some good purchases in there. I bought a very nice Eddie Bauer flannel for $2, and it's priced at like $50 new, and it's basically brand new. I found a neat little golfing t-shirt with like golf balls and golf tees on it. I wear that golfing sometimes. I found 2 suits. One I kind of like, and it was like $10. The other is my favorite suit, and it was $1.29. So that was amazing. That was a good day. And then also I bought myself a flask with the it's got a red star on it with gold writing, and I was like, I saw it from far away, and I was like, no. And I walked up to it, and it said CCCP. with the hammer and sickle on it. I was like, okay. So I bought that for like $2.
Didn't you tell me that one didn't have a price tag on it?
Yeah, it didn't have a price tag. And so I walked up and I was like, hey, how much is this? And the lady that I had, she like looked at it, looked for a price tag. She didn't quite understand. And she handed it to the other guy. And he looked at it and he was like, I don't know, like $2. Flipped it back to her. I'm like, all right, I can do that. Expecting it to be like $5 or something. I mean, it looks pretty nice.
A nice.
Reeked of vodka. Like I got drunk just smelling it.
It was probably some Soviet immigrants.
Mm-hmm.
But the only thing like I ever get at Goodwill is art. That's it.
Yeah.
I just get art.
When I like get a house, I'm going to buy art from Goodwill.
I can't stand seeing blank walls. Like whenever we went to
It
like,
runs in the family.
I guess you could say that. But like when we went to Heather and Bo's apartment, I hated it.
They have paintings
Is it-
now.
It was okay. Is there anything on the walls yet?
Yeah, there's like about that size, and like if you put them right next to each other, it makes one continuous painting. But there's like one up there and one
All
down
right.
there, so it looks pretty neat.
It bothered me
Yeah,
how blank everything was.
and then I was there for Easter, and the day before Easter, there was like we went to Goodwill, and there was like this little
No, it was 3 days before Easter that Jesus died. You can continue your story.
okay, it was
All
like
right.
a 8x5, like really old, faded, like it was in a smoker's house, painting of the Last Supper. And I was like, oh my gosh, it's Easter. Perfect. And it had like a wood frame. So we hung that up in the morning before anyone got up. So that was nice. It's still there.
I think I remember
expecting
that.
Yeah. And then Bo's cousin, Marshall, painted a like huge, like I think it's 5 feet by 3 feet painting of a trout. And Bo bought that for like $300 and put it on their wall.
He also has one of those on his leg, doesn't he? A trout.
A pike.
A pike.
A pike.
Got it close. In the schools, there's like a thing that says if the district office must have in any school buildings must have public art in them. So it's like just horrible art. It looks like Goodwill art.
Good.
Like it's just art that's like what it's a dog running away from a fence. And it's a dog whose eyes are like all fucked up and sideways, and the arm or the legs are like cartoon bendy legs. They're just like curved backwards.
You need to hire Williams for more murals. Is what
I
you
know.
Need to do.
Apparently, the art that he painted last year for the Crossroads is going up sometime this summer. So that'll be neat.
Yeah.
It'll be neat to see that hung.
Reminds me of that time he showed us that train that his sister did, and he's like, yeah, I have to go over that. That's not very good. And to me it looked like, well, I could never do anything like that. That's amazing.
Yeah, like, oh, that amazing paint of the train. Yeah, that's not very good. Yeah, I have to redo it. He is a good artist. I will miss having him as a teacher.
Yep.
He never did us. The family photo. Not like that.
Phrasing.
Yeah, that's why I. But no, you
Teachers
never,
normally aren't supposed to. Brady. What about your other teachers?
you never sketched it or painted it.
We could talk to him about that next year. The four of us could. That could be like our graduation present from him.
Yeah. A forced graduation present from him.
Paint this.
What would happen to it at that point, though? Leave it in the AMM room?
I would take it to my house.
If we want to get it painted, I can make a bet with him where when I beat him in chess, he'll paint it.
So he'll
Probably
never
do that.
Why don't
paint
we
it.
just pay for it because that'll actually happen.
Yeah.
Oh my god! Really?
Yeah, really.
You don't? Oh my.
You will not ever win a game of chess again.
Oh, you've been cursed, Alex.
By who? Ricky?
He has a Bible book with him.
Oh,
He can do whatever he wants.
Woo!
So are you going to use quotes from that book in D&D now?
That's what I was wondering.
yeah,
like
sure.
the second. God damn it!
Oh, what's happening here?
That's a good quote.
That's about it.
That's the only quote in the book.
What's happening here?
Sounds like an interesting book based on that one quote.
Yes.
Now I want to know what's happening there.
Well, you need to buy one and find out.
They're free.
You didn't buy it. You did not pay for that.
You can get them online.
Did you find it online?
Can I get it as an audiobook
You
from
can
Audible?
get it online for 3 easy payments of $6.99.99 plus shipping and handling.
Uh-oh.
Was that someone that wasn't Rick, I heard?
Did you...
No, he's not here.
Swore I heard his voice, but okay.
He's not here.
Uh-oh.
He's not trying to sell his book again.
Uh-oh, he's slipping into it. Gotta pull him back, boys. Alex, can you paint something for us? Because you just said you hate blank walls.
He is actually u/shitty watercolor.
There's a
What?
blank.
Oh.
That is him.
Wow.
He's internet famous.
Yeah, I got all those great karma points that do me
Yes.
a lot. I
Lots
cash
of
it.
karma
I want
points.
to take those all the way to the bank.
So is everything with Reddit fixed?
What happened with Reddit?
Ellen Powell?
Oh, that.
Yeah.
I don't think it's fixed.
Well,
It stopped going down.
So can you describe it in 2 sentences?
um,
I'll give you 4 if you really need them.
Tumblr is the CEO of Reddit. 1 sentence.
Tumblr
No,
is
he's
the
he
CEO
fucking
of
nailed
Reddit.
it on the head.
But then she quit.
Tumblr is the CEO of Reddit. Tumblr steps down as CEO of Reddit. 2 sentences.
But then why are people upset?
They're not anymore.
Oh, okay.
They
Sorry.
were. Yeah. So, I mean, it stopped going down. Is it kind of leveled out?
I've seen it return back to normal for the most part. Like,
So it kind of went, but it's not quite there.
yeah,
I can't really tell because I stay in my nice little front page with all my subreddits and all that, and it's a happy place. And then if you go to all,
Like
it's
Ask
just
Historian and Ask History and all the
ones that like
small
they're all
ones.
peaceful. It's this nice little community, and then you go to all, and it's go away, go no, I don't want to see this. It's terrible.
I have to ask these questions because I don't go on Reddit.
Yeah.
Is 4chan a safe place?
Yeah.
What's 8chan? I was listening to a podcast today, and the guy in the podcast was like, "Oh, all the dangerous places of the internet, like 4chan and 8chan."
8chan.
And I was like, "Whoa!"
Oh no.
No, yeah, there's
it's multiplying. Stop it.
there's 3chan, there's 420chan, which is all about weed. 8chan, I believe, is the one that's almost set up like Reddit, where anyone can make a board.
like a yeah, right, like a,
I believe that's 8chan. I could be wrong. I know one of them is like that. If it's not 8chan, I don't know what 8chan is if it's not that.
Random karma check, go.
1469.
Is that 1 second or 1?
1 second. No shit.
We're saving the best for last, by the way, so Alex needs to go.
What is yours? Like 600,000.
No.
You're Vargas.
I'm Galaboob.
Yeah.
What's Brady's?
Oh yeah.
What'd you ask for?
Don't have any.
Link or comment?
Link.
195.
Nice, nice.
What is yours, Rick?
5,815.
I got 100% of mine from a GIF of Arliss Jenkins.
Oh, that
breaking
one.
a kid's arm.
Oh god.
I was on the mat when that happened. Ah.
Yeah.
You should probably repost that.
I repost it to WTF again.
No, what you do is you take that and you just post it everywhere. Like even the subreddits where it doesn't apply. Like r/cute. Put that GIF
Oh,
there.
so cute. Found this little guy in my dumpster.
That's a great gift.
I'm so glad there was no sound.
Yeah.
Was-
Every time I see it,
Sound
though,
would've
the
been
sound
great.
replays in my head. It
Was-
was the feeling on my feet.
There was a noise.
I could feel the several thuds on my feet when it happened. But it was weird because it was kind of fluid, so it felt soft.
That's when I would watch the GIF. It was weird because it looked so fluid, but there was a.
Yeah. I
mean,
felt bad because it was a foreign exchange student who was trying out wrestling while in America.
I feel so bad.
You feel bad, but you posted it on the internet.
Yeah, I did.
For fake internet.
But I
points.
don't know.
Fake internet points. Never heard it said better.
I'm pulling up the GIF.
How come reposts? How come reposts are bad, but cross posts are not bad?
Because it's just like you're linking to the post.
Yeah.
Like, the greatest part about this GIF is the first few times you don't know it's like if you haven't seen the GIF before, you don't know what's
It's like,
happening.
oh wow, nice takedown.
Oh, he took him down. Wait, what was, there was something strange there.
Holy shit!
Where can I
Great.
find that? I want to put it in the link dump.
I'll send you a link to it.
It's embedded
Okay.
in my mind. Oh fuck. So story. I'm gonna tell the story of this.
That's nice.
It
that's arm
was
going backwards.
districts for wrestling freshman. No, was it districts?
Everything runs together now, doesn't it?
I think it was just like a regular wrestling match, or it was a tournament. That's what it was, but it wasn't anything big. And they go like from low weight classes to high weight classes, and I was 113 and Arliss was 120. So I just finished up my match, and so I was like getting dressed on the edge of the mat, and Arliss, who's on my team, right after me, he starts wrestling, and the day before, he was like, hey man, there's this move that I really want to practice. Can I do it? I was like, sure. And so he like practices it on me, and he was like, do not break your fall with your arm. I was like, okay, I won't. And so like it hurt because like I slammed my shoulder and my face on the mat at the same time, but I didn't break my fall with my arm. And then he was like, all right, it's working. And he's like, I'm going to try that tomorrow. I was like, okay. Then the next day, we're warming up, and he's like my weight, so we're wrestling partners like during warm-ups. And he's like, all right, I'm going to try that move. Remember, don't break the fall with the arm. So I don't. And it's like, all right. And then, so like as I'm getting dressed after my match, I'm watching his match, which is on the same mat, probably 10 feet away from me. And then all of a sudden, I hear like this, oh my God, like the whole crowd is like freaking out. And I turn around, and Arliss is like covering his face with his hands, just walking away. Like walking onto other mats because his face is covered. And then, like, I look over, and like this referee's like hiding this kid's arm, and the kid's like looking at it completely backwards and like limp. And I was like, oh my God. It was like, that could have been me if I like wouldn't have listened to Arliss, because he tried to move, tried to break his fall with the arm, just dislocated at the elbow, bent farther than it should, and then went limp. And so I was like, all right. I grabbed Arliss. We went in the locker room, and he was like freaking out. And he's like, oh my God. It was, and luckily someone got it on their phone, because he was like, hey, I want to see how this move looks. Can you record it for me? And he's like, yeah, sure. So he recorded it and got a great view of the arm breaking.
Yeah, and Jeremy got a hold of it somehow. I
Yep.
don't remember how. Then GIFized it.
Yep.
And so in wrestling, is there like a thing like it's bad if you break your fall with your arms? Is that like a generally?
It just depends on the move. Like if you break your fall with one arm, it's probably something bad is probably going to happen. If you break it like while
Alright.
it's stiff, but if you break it while it's like flexed or something, it'll be fine. But I mean, if you don't break your fall, you're going to hit your face and something, and you're flat out on the ground. But if you break your fall with your arms, you have like a good base.
All right. So it wasn't 100% Arliss's fault. I'm just trying to determine blame here.
No, it wasn't Arliss's fault. It was just he tried to move, and the kid did something bad and broke his arm. Well, dislocated his arm.
Can we make use of the mutual combat law we have in Washington State?
What's that? Give us a quick...
I think we're the only state that has it. Some other states might have something similar, but if two people are consenting to fight and they're like not going to destroy any property or like seriously hurt each other, they can fight and police officers can't do anything about it. So they can just fight each other. We need to make use of that.
Should we start a fight club? Like, so where it's like, oh, we're doing it the safe way, everybody.
Yeah, I mean...
That is, like...
Well, once...
You can sort of fight club like that, right?
Yeah, once, like, betting gets involved, that becomes an issue. But if you're not destroying property and whatnot, you... Yeah.
So if we did that, I would like to be the referee. I don't want to get
Okay.
any fights.
I want to fight someone.
Rick and I will be the ringleaders. We'll collect the deposits.
You do that. I will be the ring girl, and I will walk around with the round signs in bikini.
So I just want to make it clear for the audience. I'm not being like a pussy. It's that I just don't want to. I don't want to become retarded.
What am I? What?
Thank you for putting that way, Brady.
You're already halfway there.
Yeah, sometimes.
Yeah. What is that? What's my job then? Like designated fighter?
Yeah, you're just
Okay.
You're the guy that's gonna make us a lot of money.
Well,
Yeah.
No, but once you start betting, then
No.
it becomes a problem.
Well,
Then-
you're like our... You know how you're like our prized cock. Like, you know when cock fights
Yeah, I know.
where you have one really good one?
Okay. Yeah.
That's you.
all right.
Also, but we're not going to tie razor blades to your feet like they do in cockfights.
I hope not.
Well, I mean, we could try it.
Where would we have this
I remember.
fight club? Any room?
No, right here where we do everything else.
It's
Right after the
this-
D&D session, we
This
just go
seems to
straight
be
into
like
Fight Club.
the summer go-to spot for doing things.
Mm-hmm.
You must like it. You don't have to go very far. What, like 30 feet?
Yeah. It's a pretty tough commute.
One thing that happened recently, Alex and I were playing Counter-Strike, and which hadn't happened in the recent past, so he's like, all right, yeah, I'll play a match. And there was someone with a terrible ping. It was ranging from 950 to 999, and he would just sit there and not do anything. So, of course, we kicked him.
But we only kicked him during the second half.
Yeah,
of
the
game.
second half of the match,
We were just
which
like,
was after
okay, we're
15
fed up.
rounds.
We're just kick you.
And then another guy on the team was like, ha ha ha, we should try to kick everyone. So he tried to kick me. It didn't work. So I was like, oh, okay.
Because I voted no.
Yeah. Thank you.
God damn.
Thank you for that. And then, so I was like, okay, it would be funny if we kicked him. So then
And then we actually kicked him.
we actually kicked him. And then there was one guy left, and Alex voted to kick him. And I was sitting there for probably 20 seconds debating on whether or not I should do it.
Okay, yeah.
I was like, finally, okay.
So it's just the two of us. The thing at this point, we're losing because we're missing people, but I'm actually still doing really good in our match, and I'm killing at least like 3 or 4 people around.
So
And
he was put in a situation where there was 3 bots, well, basically 4 bots, except he couldn't control me. And it was like a 4v1 situation, and he killed 3 of them, and he couldn't kill the last one. So
I was like in a gunfight with the last one. I'm about to kill him. I was gonna kill him, and then Ricky kicks me.
well, it was a
just
thing
him.
like there was someone coming from like the doorway I was watching, and Alex was kind of in a hidden spot. So I was like, hey.
I was watching
Shoot.
the other
So
direction.
I was like, hey, shoot. And then he'll be like, oh, he's over there. And he'd run past me and I'd kill him. But he didn't do that. So they're like, okay, that upsets me. So I tried to kick him thinking, oh, yeah, it's not going to work. You need like 2 votes or something. But I kicked him and it worked. And we lost. Well, we kept playing, but it was
He
me.
kept playing by
It was
himself.
me and 4 other bots. Also, this is while a major lightning storm was going on.
Oh, that was the lightning storm.
Yeah.
Night. All right.
Yeah.
Couldn't hear the game because the thunder was so
Was
loud.
that Sunday night?
It would have been
That's Sunday?
Sunday.
Right?
Yeah, Sunday.
God, that was awful, that rain.
I've started practicing daily on CS:GO.
Good.
Like aim practicing
Yeah.
maps, so we need to play more.
Okay.
I think I deranked off that. The one you kicked me?
Good. Good.
No.
Yeah. Good.
God damn it.
So
I
you have
didn't
to
rank up from that.
you have to keep up your doing well to keep your rank.
Yeah,
Okay.
pretty much. Every match counts towards your skill range. So
They'll do it like you'll be put in a group of people that are higher than you, and if you do well, you'll get ranked up. If you get put in a group of people that are your rank, you'll do good or something, then you'll have a higher chance of going up. But then if you get put with like a team of people that are a lower rank, you'll get deranked if you don't like carry.
Makes
Alright.
sense.
So
Yeah.
with me, like my problem is I will do like I'll go pretty much even no matter where I am. So when I'm in the games where like I'm supposed to carry, I don't because I play at other people's levels. But then when I get games with Alex and they're all like higher than me, and I'll like maintain like I'll go 21 and 21 or something, then I'll get ranked up, then I'll get ranked down, and somehow I got ranked down. I don't even know what happened because I didn't play any matches.
I think one of the matches we played in had a hacker, and they just got rid of the score for that one, and it took you down. So if you get a few good wins, you should be ranking up.
Yeah.
Very competitive game.
Yeah.
Very, very competitive.
All right. Well, you guys want to call it?
We've only been going an hour and 10 minutes.
Yeah, very long one.
Thank you for listening, everybody. The theme song?
All right. See you next time.
Bye.
Bye.
I don't know what that's from. I think it's like Stevie Nicks or something. But Samuel L. Jackson yells it at Jake Gyllenhaal to play it in Jarhead. And he plays it on the trumpet, but he doesn't have a trumpet, so he plays it with his mouth.
Bye. I remember that.